Bear Independent Brief, 3 December 25. Trump recently announced that U.S. troops will begin land strikes on suspected Venezuelan drug traffickers very soon, and also declared Venezuelan airspace, it's completely closed, all the way closed. There's not even a little sliver of it open. The administration has designated the Cartel de los Soles, a term experts say describes allegedly corrupt government officials. Allegedly corrupt? Listen, the best government officials at that level of governance, the best of them, are at least a little corrupt, because that's how it works there. That's how it works there. It's like you go to a farm, and there's a bunch of fat, disgusting hogs wallowing in their own shit. And it's like, which one's the cleanest? None of them. None of them. What is going on? Camera, you sit. You'll be happy, camera. There we go. The Cartel de los Soles is an FTO, foreign terrorist organization. This would give Trump authority to impose fresh sanctions. Ooh, not sanctions on President Nicolas Maduro's assets and infrastructure, though it doesn't explicitly authorize lethal force. That's okay, because Trump has authorized the company, the Christians in Action, to go down there, and they're talking about it publicly, which means that there, by one means or another, there will be regime change. They're not perfect. I mean, Bay of Pigs, anyone? You know, the LatAm environment, maybe they're not that great down there. Who knows? There's guaranteed a gaggle of ultimate gringos down there already doing the things. Still, administration officials are making the case that the designation provides expanded military options for striking inside of Venezuela. Defense, all this is all Monroe Doctrine 2.0, shoring up resources, not only for economic reasons, but for everything everywhere all at once, the impending World War III. And I'll just reiterate, because there's still some that just don't seem to understand. And for those that do understand, good. Reiteration. It's good for you. This is not going to be like World War I and II, where the wars were over there. America is a warring nation. We have been for the vast majority of our time as a country. We have been at war. But it's been a while since the war's been here. And we Americans have gotten very soft. Very soft. And you could argue that they made us soft. Well, nobody made you do anything. Okay? You may have acquiesced to their plan. But very few of us have had a gun put to our head and said, you will be soft and useless or else. So, don't be soft, don't be useless, because, and I know, it's mind-boggling to some of y'all. You're like, no, that won't happen here. It's like, have you read a single history book? Any one of them? Well, you can't, the Jews wrote the history books. You can't read the history books. Okay, Wikipedia is corrupt. Got it. Everything's make-believe. I apologize. I'm sorry, sir, madam. Everything's make-believe. There definitely wasn't a Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Civil War. Anyway, it's going to be here. 2. Get that through your skull. Okay? Okay. Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir, what an interesting name, Vladimir Padrino Lopez used the 105th anniversary of the Venezuelan, I know it's Venezuelan, but I like Venezuelan, Air Force to call on citizens to, quote, defend the nation with their lives if necessary, end quote. The government has provided boogers. The government has provided boogers and weapons training to thousands of civilians and activated tens of thousands of militiamen since September. And Maduro has claimed that 4.5 million trained civilians could be added to Venezuela's roughly 300,000 military and paramilitary forces. The idea that we're going to launch a ground invasion against Venezuela without first softening it up is laughable. But okay, now, 300,000 military personnel, that's not nothing. 4.5 million trained civilians, that's not nothing either. Quantity has a quality all of its own. However, I don't see this going well for Venezuela. Congress is the one that needs to declare war. There's no declaration of war. We can't go to war. I don't know if you've noticed, but Congress is a sham. It's a show. It's all make-believe. It's whose line is it anyway? The rules are made up and the points don't matter. There's just a bunch of actors acting as if their roles actually matter. They don't go to Congress to represent you. They go to Congress to increase their net worth. That's why they go to Congress. And yeah, Congress also has the power of the purse. All right, well, how's that working out? So good, right? Just so good. Excellent track record. Despite the aggressive posture, experts don't expect a full-scale invasion. Interesting. Christian Schweck, a Latin American historian, says he doesn't believe, quote, the United States is planning a ground invasion of Venezuela. That could turn into a new Vietnam, end quote. I don't know about that, but maybe. Targeted missile strikes or airstrikes on suspected smuggling infrastructure. Smuggling infrastructure. Oops. That electricity plant, it was smuggling electricity, so we blew it up. That hospital over there, it was smuggling healthcare, so we blew that up. Everybody smuggles everything, so everybody's been blowed up. Smuggling infrastructure, okay. Some analysts suggest Trump is following what he laid out in his 1987 book, that is, escalate to negotiate. According to Axios, far-left rag, Trump has offered Maduro talks even as threats continue. This is confirmed true. Phil Gunson of the International Crisis Group says Trump's instinct is to negotiate rather than get involved in war. Now, was it Teddy Roosevelt, who said speak softly and carry a big stick? Yeah. So, the big stick would be the aircraft, the carrier strike groups off of their coast, and they're cleared airspace. That's ominous. Yeah, that's the big stick. The situation is also revealing the limits of Venezuela's alliance with Russia and China. While both nations previously provided military equipment, financial aid, and training, their support has dried up as they face their own challenges. Russia is consumed by its own war in Ukraine, and China is wrestling with economic troubles and trying to secure trade deals with Trump. Now, I recently spoke to somebody who knows more than I do about the Chinese economy. And one of the questions I asked is it as bad as everybody says it is? And their response was, well, it's definitely not good. And the United States and China are engaged in a race to the bottom. But because the Chinese have essentially controlled society, meaning the government is involved in basically all facets of life, they can exert more pressure where needed in order to extend their dying economy longer than the United States can. Therefore, the assessment was, watch out at the exertion of central force from the federal government in the United States of America in order to be able to keep pace with China in their economic downturn. We're both racing to the bottom here. It's akin to, my words, not theirs, akin to the Cold War with Russia. So rabbit, squirrel, rabbit hole, we can see oftentimes Trump's efforts that have been being made at the federal level in the Department of War to partner with mining consortiums and defense contractors and critical infrastructure providers for the government to own a part of these organizations. Fascist, arguably more socialist, but in any event, the idea behind that is by the government, our federal government, playing a more direct role in the operation of these companies that serve the best interest of the United States, whatever that is. It's certainly not the best interest of the people of the United States, but I digress upon my digression. Our federal government is able to exert more control and influence in order to be able to extend our dying economy further to keep a pace with China, because everything everywhere all at once, approximately 12 months out. As Ryan C. Berg of the Center for Strategic and International Studies noted, quote, "The so-called axis of authoritarianism looks much stronger in peacetime, but has proven to be little hollow in times of need," end quote. Russia has only provided 2 oil tankers to help Venezuela pump crude for export. Vladimir Ruvinsky, who tracks Moscow's engagement in Latin America, said, quote, "These small gestures that are not going to be sufficient, these are small gestures that are not going to be sufficient if the U.S. moves to deadly force on Venezuela," end quote. Meanwhile, and this is interesting, it's all interesting for those who have ears to hear. Meanwhile, Venezuela is preparing for guerrilla-type resistance if U.S. forces do attack. Guerrilla-type resistance. Where have I seen this material before? The plan includes small military units at more than 280 locations conducting sabotage and guerrilla tactics and what's called long-term resistance. Another strategy, termed anarchization, like anarchy, employing anarchy, would use intelligence services and armed supporters to create chaos in Caracas so the country couldn't be governed. How curious. Maduro warned, quote, "If the Yankees think they can enter here like in Panama in 1989, they will face a Vietnam scenario times 10. Our guerrillas will make their lives a living hell," end quote. I don't know about that. Sounds like bravado, but interesting nonetheless. For some, the biggest worry isn't what happens in Venezuela, it's the broader regional fallout. Remember that Nicholas Burns, former Undersecretary of State, called this, quote, "the most dangerous moment in Latin America since the Cuban Missile Crisis," end quote, warning that if invasion happens, Russia and China won't intervene directly, but will, quote, "respond asymmetrically with cyber attacks, and they will stir things up in all the neighboring countries. Nobody wants Maduro, but nobody wants a U.S. intervention either," end quote. According to CBS News and a YouGov poll, even 70% of Americans oppose military action in Venezuela. Direct intervention could destabilize the region, increase migration flows, and fuel anti-American sentiment across Latin America. Fiend. The asymmetric attacks part is one of the things that, again, most people don't grasp. A lot of people are still stuck in third-generation warfare, World War II, or fourth-generation warfare, global war on terror, 9/11 attacks, blah, blah, blah. That's old news, boys and gerbils. We're in 5th gen, which is LSCO, large-scale combat operations, like World War II, Gen 3, and terror networks and terror attacks, Generation 4 warfare, and cyber attacks, and monetary destabilization, and PSYOPs campaigns, and demoralization campaigns, and. It's everything. It's the everything in everything everywhere all at once. It's all of it. And the cyber attacks thing is real. Now, most people go, okay, well, whatever. Okay, I won't be able to log into my email today. Where? Yeah. Recently, over the weekend, underreported because it would cause mass hysteria, many people logged into their bank accounts to find that their bank account said 0 doll hairs. Now, it was fixed relatively quickly, but that's an example of a cyber attack. You just turn your bank off. Now you have no money. Or the credit and debit card processors no longer work, so now you can't transact. Recently, around here, a utility bill went out that the utility bill was 4 times, due to an air quote cyber glitch, 4 times what it should have been. It's removing the ability for people to do commerce and to communicate in real time, which breaks logistics. How important is logistics to warfare, 5th generation warfare? Incredibly. No commo, no logistics, no war. So it's a big deal. The cyber attacks are a big deal. It's not just nothing. That's the show for today. Thank you for bearing with my face full of snot. I appreciate you all very much. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody that supported Refuge Medical during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Thank you guys and girls very much. Our small family-owned American-made company appreciates you deeply. Some asshole in the comments yesterday said something like, oh, so the guy who makes the med kits thinks he's like a CIA superhero. Got it. It's like, man, kiss my ass. If you didn't watch the Gate video yesterday, check that out. Yeah. We all need to begin conducting ourselves like superheroes of the Most High. And preservation of life is going to be incredibly important for myriad reasons. So just because Black Friday and Cyber Monday is over, if there's anything we can help you with going into this holiday season, if you'd like to give the gift of life, or if you need to stack your preps, for example, buckets, the bucket line at Refuge is chef's kiss, stellar. Check that out. Use promo code BEARNATION for 10% off. I wish I could do more than that, but our margins are very thin as it is. And our dollar lost 10% of its purchasing power this year as well. So if there's anything we can help you with, refugemedical.com. Call the store, shoot us an email, use the chat function on the website. It's real people, not AI, that answer that. And we'd be happy and honored to serve you. And also, everybody who supported Grindstone Ministries in Caleb House yesterday during Giving Tuesday, thank you. We are 100% privately funded by you. We don't take government money because I don't want government problems. We are privately funded, privately supported, so that we can actually do the things that we say that we do. One of the things that's often lost is that for what DHS allots for a single child for recovery per year, Caleb House is able to, for every one child, the amount of money that DHS spends on one child, Caleb House can restore 21 children. So we're a 21x multiplier. And DHS doesn't actually do it. They say they do. They have a budget for it. They don't actually do it. We barely got the budget, but we do it. So that's really important. And, of course, Grindstone. When you have an emergency, who's going to run towards the problem and help you? The answer to that is Grindstone. So we couldn't do this without you guys and girls. We greatly appreciate you for that. It's also the beginning of the month. It's the best time of the month to sign up for Patreon. Links are in the description, or you can go to bearindependent.com. All of the links are there. And of course, shout out to the creator of the universe for allowing us to wake up this morning. Thank you, sir. I slept really hard last night. I needed to. But weirdness, like some weird stuff when I finally woke up this morning. I know that I set alarms on my phone. I set 3 of them for 2 hours ago, and they were off. And I have no recollection of my alarms going off. My watch, it lives in the same place in my house. It's been there forever. That's where it's going to be. That's where it is. So I'm getting ready in the morning. I throw a watch on. It's not there. A couple of things on my desk aren't where they're supposed to be. I don't know. Let us hear the conclusion of the matter. Serve Yahweh and keep his commands, for this applies to all mankind. Go out there and be the light today. The world needs it. And from a worldly standpoint, the rules are made up and the points don't matter. From a heavenly standpoint, the rules are not made up and the points do matter. So let's keep our focus where it belongs today and operate out of love and respect and faithfulness, not out of fear. The prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. So do the things, Bear Nation. We are on the precipice of chaos, and I want us to endure. I'll see y'all when I see you.